Photoshop just got an update and there are some mind-blowing features, so check these out right now. Hey everyone, Colin Smith here from photoshopcafe.com, and right now I'm going to show you the new features in the June 2021 release of Photoshop. So the first features we're going to look at are the new neural filters, and one of them is colorizing. So here's a classic photo of Marilyn Monroe that we're going to colorize. First thing you want to do is you want to go under the image mode and make sure you're not in grayscale, but go to RGB mode. This way colors can be added. You can't add colors to a single channel photo. All right, watch this, guys. We're going to choose filter, neural filters. Now we've had Colorize before and it worked okay, but check out how well this new release does. All right, before you choose any filter, let me just show you something. When you click, you're going to see this little download icon. I've already downloaded the ones we're going to use, but if you see that, just choose download and then it's going to download that filter. All right, so watch how well the new Colorize works. We're going to go and choose the Colorize under beta. And give this a few seconds and boom, look at that. That is amazing. My mind is blown. And we can also go through here and we can adjust the different colors. We can adjust the noise reduction. There's a lot of different things we can do here to tweak those photos. But I think for one click, that's pretty amazing. And here we can look at the before and after. Just click there, shows you the before. Click there, shows you after. And we can output it on all kinds of different ways. Generally, I would choose new layer. Click OK, and we're done. We're ready to go. And we can see before, after. All right, let's go on to the next one. This one here is kind of mind-blowing. Not that the last one wasn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to like bark like a dog. Maybe my laugh sounds like a dog. I'm sorry. All right, so let's just choose filter. We're going to go back to the neural filters because this is another one in here. And this one is pretty amazing. This one's called the depth blur. So we're actually going to change the depth of field of this photograph. So watch what happens when we turn on depth blur. Let's just click to apply it. And look at this photo. Everything's in focus. And now the background's out of focus. All right, that's kind of cool, but we can do so much more than that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut straight to the cool stuff, and then I'll tell you what some of these do. So if you want to focus on a certain area in a photo, go over this little preview and click. So maybe we want the bottom left to be in focus. We click, notice now the focus is on this. Now sometimes it can appear a little harsh the way it's going here, and we can change that by changing the focal length, focal range, sorry. If we pull this to the left, notice what happens here. Notice now we're going to get a more gradual fall off. So that'll get rid of that. And if you want to have a wider depth of field, meaning more of it's in focus, you push it up this way and you'll see that it's a less area. So, but I kind of like it in about here where we had it. I feel like this is nice. So we can also click in a different area. Maybe we want this background to be in focus. So click on the background there and notice how everything else falls off. Now we have the ability to change the amount of blur. If we take it to the left, it's not going to be as blurry. If we take it to the right, it's going to be even more blurry. Okay, so we've already talked about focal range. Let's look at the focal distance. And notice that this is grayed out. We can't change the focal distance, and that's because we're clicking on the thumbnail. So if we hit the little minus key, takes away that thumbnail, now we can dial it in by moving the slider. I'll go all the way to the left, and you can see what happens. See how now it's focusing very close to us? If we go all the way to the other end, it's going to focus as far away as it can, to infinity. But watch what happens when we go somewhere in the middle here. Notice how we can start to move the focal distance, just as if we were focusing a camera or creating a rack focus. I think this is just absolutely amazing. This is going to be really useful in compositing and a lot of different things. Now, if you wanted to increase that focal range now, like you feel like, I want a little bit more of this in focus, we can just pull that up a little bit and we can expand that focus a little bit, or we can make it even narrower, kind of like almost what you would get like a lens baby kind of feel. All right, so I'm going to pull this down nice and narrow. And there's some other things we can do too. These out of focus areas, we can add some haze if we just click on haze. And we'll just give that a second and choose how much haze we want to give it. See, and notice that we can, we can get crazy with this if you want. Put crazy amounts of haze, but I don't want to do that. Let's just put just a little bit of haze in there. And that kind of makes it interesting. So if we look at this, watch the background before the haze and then after. And then warmth. Warmth is really temperature, so if we move it to the left, it's going to get cooler. And if we move it to the right, it gets warmer. But notice it's only affecting that out of focus area or that hazy area. So it's kind of neat. You could give it a little bit of the LA look here by warming it up, make it look like smog. Of course, we can also change brightness and saturation. Here's another interesting feature in here, though, is the output depth map. If we click here, you can see it creates a depth map. And this is kind of like what you would get with portrait mode on a phone or even like a fog rendering out of 3D. So it's actually noticing the distance. And you could use this for other things such as lens blur and other tools inside of Photoshop that you can use a depth map on. So a depth map can be very useful if you want to output that and overlay it over the top of your photo. And here's our depth map. And, of course you could also use it for other things. Throw that into soft light blending mode. Notice you can create a little bit more depth to a photo just doing that with the lighting. So you can use it for a lot of different things other than just applying it with that blur. But I want to show you another feature, which is there's more filters coming, and you'll see those under the waitlist. So if you click under the waitlist here, you'll see these different ones that Adobe are suggesting that we're going to bring in here, face cleanup, different things like that. And if you see one that you really want, click on I'm interested. And then your vote will go through, and the ones with the highest votes are the ones that Adobe's going to build out first. So this is where you have a chance to have a say in what comes in the latest version of Photoshop. All right, let's move on. I want to show you another feature, which is something that has been annoying a lot of people in the last version. So when we choose File, Save As, when you want to make a copy, we'll look at Save a Copy in a second, but you choose Save As, and notice when you go down Format, some of you have noticed some of these options are missing. So what they've done is they've set it into a format where everything's going to be retained. So that means this is a layered file. So if you wanted to save it as a JPEG or something else, you would lose the layer. So it maintains it. So they put in this option. Rather than doing that, you can choose Save a Copy. And then when you choose Save a Copy, now all the formats are available. And it will put copy at the end of the name. Now let me just show you one other thing before I show you how we can toggle back to how it was. So if we choose File and we were doing Save As and by habit, and you're like, I want to save this as a JPEG. Oh no, JPEG's not available. Well, you can choose Save a Copy from within that dialog. Now you could choose JPEG, and if you don't like the copy, just get rid of the word copy and then just choose Save. Now we have more control over that. If we go under the Preferences, and under Preferences, let's go down to File Handling. And if you just want to go back to the way everything was before, just enable Legacy Save As. And then when you do this, it's just going to work. And I'll just click OK. It's going to work the way it always had. And if you want to save a copy of something, a derivative or something like that, you can do that. Now just choose Save As. Just be sure not to save it as the same file name. But we're used to that. The other option is if you do want to use it the new way, but you don't want it to say copy at the end all the time, just choose Do Not Append Copy. And this will give me a warning, so Adobe's not responsible for me overwriting any files. Now the other changes inside of Photoshop or the other updates are really things inside of Camera Raw. So let's just choose Filter Camera Raw. Now, we've got super resolution in Camera Raw, but we also now have it in Lightroom. Check out my other video where I've got the Lightroom new features. So I'm not going to go over those features again here. So they've changed the histogram here inside of Camera Raw, so now it's the same as the one in Lightroom. And you can see the different color channels viewing there. Another small change under the color mixer, instead of just having hue, saturate, luminance, we can now click on all and we get to have the all view once again. So what do you guys think about those new features? Let me know in the comments. What was your favorite new feature? I don't know about you, but that Colorize and that depth of field is absolutely blowing my mind. I'm kind of torn between both of those. I can see a lot of uses for them. And by the way, guys, if you're new here, hi, welcome to Photoshop Cafe. consider hitting that subscribe button, and then you won't miss any of my uploads. Turn on notifications and YouTube will let you know when I upload new videos. And if you like this, smash the like button into dust. And the rest of you guys, I'm going to see you on Thursday for our live stream, 1 p.m. Pacific time every Thursday. See you then. Until next time, I'll see you at the cafe.